100 AM, Atlanta's real sports and entertainment talk radio. It's real.
Where you been? The streets been missing you. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
We are back right here on Influencer Radio. I am your host, Kevin C. Pride, along with Brian Brown, and you are listening to the Influencer Radio Experience. We got an illustrious guest today.
Nothing but illustrious guest.
Nothing. We don't know how to do nothing else.
We can't. I mean, we got standards.
She is an author. She is an author. She has her own show.
Mm-hmm.
It's on video.
It's on video.
A little bit on TV.
On TV.
She is an actor. She got a
She
book.
be acting on.
And she is a doctor. So today we would like to welcome our guest, Dr. Tanji from Love Manifesto. How you doing today, Dr. Tanji?
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you.
So we're sitting here today. We're talking about relationships. I'm not feeling well. Are you that type of doctor, or I need to talk to somebody else about that? I gotta get my vitamins somewhere else. My inspirational doctor. So we are talking about relationships, and we know that you are the relationship doctor, and you are the host of Love Manifesto. So tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you guys talk about with Love Manifesto, and tell me a little bit about your show.
Actually, I'm a former professor of history, and my doctorate is in humanities with a concentration in African American studies. However, I am a certified life coach.
Okay.
Okay. And so I am a relationship advocate, and I do research it thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Love Manifesto, the radio show, it airs every Tuesday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on World Star Hit Radio. And the premise for the show is simply to explore, to analyze, and to manifest thriving platonic, intimate, and business relationships.
Beautiful. So tell me a little bit about the business relationships. So give me a few pointers and a little advice, because we've been talking about today making your network your net worth, and I think we're gonna have to spend a little bit more time on it to really get in depth on that. But give us a few tips and a little bit of advice about managing business relationships from an expert.
Well, I like to say this first. Everything is about relationships.
That's true.
Everything is about relationships. And I think that we have to market our brand.
Okay.
And that is marketing ourselves. We have to sell ourselves. Our brand, your brand is you, and you are your brand.
That's true.
And so that's the thing that a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that wherever they go, they're selling themselves even without trying to sell themselves.
Wow.
Right? So the first thing you concentrate on is promoting your brand. And it has a lot to do with how you present yourself. That precedes the product that you plan to sell, whether that is a product or a service.
Okay.
Because if people don't connect with you, they may not be interested in your service or your product.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Now, in this digital world, we're talking about relationships. I mean, and over the weekend, over the holiday weekend, we had a really good conversation about how do you even meet people now in this digital world. Like, even dating is different. Like, you can't just go to a bar or a restaurant and meet a nice person. Like, you got to see them on Tinder. Or you got to see them on some type of Match.com. Like, so how does that work in the business world? Like, when you're trying to really meet people, like, what are some good ways to develop relationships in this digital age?
Well, I like to say this. Honestly, I don't have a problem with meeting people or getting dates, or that has never been a problem of mine.
Go ahead.
I mean, she's saying, 'cause I'm the baddest. I'm the baddest.
I've just never experienced that problem. I'm like, oh my God, I'd like to get married again so I can stop getting all of these inquiries, because it is really time consuming.
Well, tell me this though. Do you think it's a generational thing? Because one thing I've noticed too, I'm starting to see younger folks seem to have a little bit more of a issue with meeting people in person. But like me and you, personally, I don't have that issue either. It's like I can sit down and start talking to somebody and talk their head off for hours. So do you think it's more of a generational thing? Do you think we put too many barriers in the way with all these text messages and all this social messaging and this type of stuff, people replacing that for genuine relationships?
Well, I'll tell you this, that young people are wired differently, right?
Okay.
They think differently. Their expectations are really different than people who are older. And when I say older, 35 and older.
Okay.
Anyone under 35, they usually are so accustomed to texting.
Okay.
They're accustomed to inboxing. They're accustomed to having this relationship, this digital relationship that could or could not lead to something else.
Wow.
And so that's interesting. I mean, I've had young men young enough to be my child interested in me, and I'm like, no.
Was they in your DM?
Like, no, that's not going to work for me. Yeah. And so they're up texting late at night and things like that. And I'm thinking,
hey, big head.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So I think that we have to think about how we present ourselves digitally, right?
Okay.
And that has a lot to do with who you attract and how you attract people, the people that you attract. So if you're constantly uploading things that you have naked,
Wow.
then you're probably going to attract someone that's going to come to you expecting you to maybe be very sexual and intimate with them because that's the way that you're portraying yourself. That's your brand. Your brand is sex in some instances. And so that's what people are expecting from you.
And we will not be starting bakeries with that type of profile. Let's just say that.
Not at all. So what about business relationships? Like, what are some things that, just from your expertise that people can do to really, develop and leverage business relationships?
Well, I'll tell you this with LinkedIn. I think I said to you guys earlier that I have 10,000 plus people on LinkedIn, and I didn't buy any people. Some people buy folks, right? And I don't accept everyone on LinkedIn. I will say this has a lot to do with what I post and the fact that I really have a dialogue with people about things that they're doing that's great. They may have an article that's maybe of great interest. I comment on that article, right? I make sure that whatever I am posting, that it still complements my brand and my character. And that kind of spin off to relationships. I get so many invitations that I cannot attend everything.
Wow. Now, let's kind of switch gears a little bit and let's talk about Love Manifesto a little bit more. Now, you told us the premise for the show is manifesting successful relationships. What made you create a show like that?
I call myself a secret love movement strategist.
All right.
Okay.
A secret love movement strategist. And I really think it's like impossible to exhaust the topic.
Okay.
And I am a kind of person, I just love people. I love people. I love things. That's just who I am. And I feel like so many people don't understand the power of love, the importance of love. And I was sitting down one day and it just popped into my head,
Wow.
Let's talk about love. Can you exhaust that? That's what the world is missing. They're missing love.
That's true.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I remember when I first started kind of getting into my journey, I read this book called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And in the book, it talks about him going to the marketplace and say that if he went with love, if he didn't go with love, that he would just be another peddler. And I think that's just something like that a lot of times people forget, even in business, that it's about genuine authenticity, about being able to go and like, I'm really, because you get into this business because you want to help people or you want to provide a service or solve a problem. So that's even not a love. Like it's a problem that I want to help other people with. So I think it's definitely important.
Yeah, you can love something and then you can be in love with something. The commitment is different. So when you're in love with what you're doing, you don't easily walk away from it, even if it becomes challenging or difficult and you don't understand it. When you're in love with someone, you don't walk away easily.
And the other side of that, like when you said when you're in love with something, it ain't work.
Yeah,
it's not work.
Exactly.
It's like the relationship is not work. The work itself is not work. It's not one of those type things where you constantly forcing it. Because I know in business a lot, when I'm just so in love with Influencer 365 and all the stuff that we doing and just, oh my God, just another wowing website and all this stuff. When I'm in love with it, it's not work. And I'm so passionate about it and it draws so much to you. But some days it's like you're forcing it.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to your point about being in love, right? Yep. So being in love with it means that on the days when I don't like it, I still love it.
That's true.
So it makes you still show up. You know, and I think that's important for like purpose and life. Like if you don't love what you do, or if you don't love the things you do in life, you're not gonna always show up. That's why you get to like sometimes you get to these fast food joints, can't get a burger.
Well, y'all realize it. On July 8th, Kevin is acting out of love today, okay? Because I'm tired. All right. So, that's you told us why you created the show. Give us an idea. So, what do you have? What's the plans for the show? What are you going to do with it? Are you got bigger ideas, or are you going to, transform it into something greater, or you going to, stay with radio and stay an audio experience? What's the plans?
Well, the ultimate goal for Love Manifesto is to syndicate the show.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So not only will it be on one platform, but it will be on multiple platforms.
Okay.
And at some point in time, it would actually become a television talk show.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the format of your show. I've been on the show. So, with the format of it and the way that you put it out there, I could definitely see it as a talk show. Now, just one more time, why is love so important? Just why is this one of these overarching things of just life, business, and almost everything that you do? Why is love so important?
For many different reasons, but I'll narrow it down to hope.
Okay.
Love gives us hope. And hope means you always have something to look forward to.
Wow.
Even if you don't understand what's going on, even when you're hurting, love brings hope. And hope means that you always have something to look forward to.
Wow. Now, you are writing a book. Mm-hmm. What's the name of this book?
Actually, I've written 8 books.
Wow.
I have
Eight.
one. 8, yes.
I wrote like 3 paragraphs and thought I did something. You wrote 8 books?
One time I wrote a 15-page essay. So,
I know, right?
Well, people who have real doctorate degrees have written dissertations, right?
I got you.
So
She said real doctor. Some of y'all out here being fake doctors.
Not tomorrow.
yeah, so that was my first introduction to putting together a book that's 200 plus pages.
Wow.
And so I learned how to really write and to express myself. And so the book that's already published is Forever 17, the Bianca Dillard story, which is the life and death of an only child and how that impacts family, friends, and the community. Is actually the story of my only daughter who was killed in a car accident. And so after that, I have a book that I'm writing, and I've struggled with it because it's so forthcoming, and I have to change some things. So it's Crushed Ice, a memoir. So I'm changing some names and some stuff in there because if not, some people might go to jail.
Oh my God! Don't send nobody to jail. Well, this book is obviously not about me. I would not.
Disclaimer.
So I know, right? I'm not one of those people that's gonna go to jail. But give us a little bit of it though. Tell us a little bit of juice. What's in it?
Well, when I was growing up, I will tell you this, and very few people know, I was molested by multiple people. I was raped. At one point, I was choked basically to death, was raped. And I remember when my eyes popped open, and the person who had actually basically almost killed me looked at me and thought, "Oh my gosh," they couldn't believe that I was still alive. And how they ran away. And so many people don't know about that. Sometimes people look at you and they think your journey was quick and easy, but that's not the case with me. I've been homeless, I've been repeatedly molested, raped, even some things that I experienced with my parents, because I was a child that was not wanted, but was kept and mistreated. But the thing is that I ended up in private school. So you have people thinking that life was great and wonderful, but we were told to present ourselves the way that our family wanted to be perceived, but that was not the way it was behind the scenes.
Oh my God! Now that's just, I mean, that's powerful. What is that like? Is it a healing thing to put this stuff out there? What is it like to? Because I mean, anytime that you open yourself up, you open yourself up to scrutiny and people talking about you and people having things to say. So what is that like? Is that a scary process to really put it out there and show folks? Because I know it helps other people to know. that somebody else has gone through this. So what is it like for you?
Well, it's been kind of agonizing.
Okay.
I just finished a chapter, and I remember at the end of the chapter, all I did was cry at the end of the chapter because it forces me to deal with all of those things that I dealt with. And I thought, wow, that's just really remarkable how I was able to get through that and not lose my mind, not become an alcoholic, not become a drug addict, not become a criminal. It's just so amazing to know that I was able to get through that. And this story is not to incriminate people who really should be in prison, but it's to really give other people hope who are experiencing the same thing that I experienced, or people who might end up doing it, or people who just don't know how to move forward after experiencing those types of things.
So you find your power in the pen.
Absolutely.
So as far as your book coming out, how far are you in this new book, and where can people read it? Where can people find like even your new books that you already have that's already out?
Well, I only have one of the books that's been published.
Okay.
That's Forever 17. The other books are going to be released after this book, Crushed Ice. I'm like 140 pages into it. That book will be at least a good 200 pages. I have about 5 more chapters. The thing is, the goal is to complete it this year. But really, it takes so much out of me when I'm doing this, because at the same time, I'm still trying to protect some people. Because I know with me divulging these secrets, some people are going to be very angry.
I got you.
I mean, when I hear people that have gone, I mean, we've all go through traumatic things, but mental health is such a powerful thing, and such a thing that we are, starting to create a dialogue of. Like, so what do you for people that have like gone through similar events or are going through similar events, how did you find, or how did you take care of your mental health? And what are some ways you think that people can, kind of take care of theirs?
Well, initially, I pretended as if it didn't exist, right?
Okay.
I suppressed all of it. It wasn't until my daughter was killed, my only child was killed, that all of the disappointments of life surfaced. And I was actually like a walking zombie. I was just existing. And I finally realized that I needed to talk to a professional. That's what I needed to do. And so I had to realize that what happened to that little girl was not her fault.
That's true.
It was not her fault. And someone dear to me, when I did say something about it, at one time, a relative, they told me that it was all my fault. And I was like, I was a child. How was it my fault that, all of this stuff happened to me? And so I didn't get counseling until after my daughter was killed.
Well, it's a story of resilience, right? Right.
Exhale for a second. It got deep. But thank you so much for sharing that to us, because one thing that I do find in life is that the worst things happen to some of the best people. And I don't know if it's a way of God really bringing out who you're supposed to be in life. I don't know why we find that is, but it just seems like you're so strong and you're so amazing, and so you really bounce back from it. It's very inspiring to sit here next to you, and you'd be able to talk about this stuff so eloquently without breaking down in tears and that type of stuff. I'd be sitting here bawling my eyes out right now trying to talk about something like that. So it is. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
And so where can people keep up with your story, keep up with any books you're going to release, and connect with you?
Actually, you can connect with me on Instagram at Instagram Dr_Tangi, or just simply Google me. I am the only Lytangela Crossfield in the world. And so if you Google my name, you can find everything, or you can go to drtangi.com, and that's drtangi.com.
All right.
And you young boys, stay out of those DMs.
Yes,
I tell myself, hey, big head.
Well, we got a few more minutes here. Anything that you want to... We always try to leave our guests on a very positive note. We try to give them some advice. going forward. So seeing how you are the relationship expert, and this is a dangerous business show, is there any information that you can give our audience, a few tips if they're out there networking, or some things that they can do with some of their business relationships just to make it a little bit better, or to help them on their journey?
I'll say this first, is that you have to know what it is that you're looking for. Because how will you know whether or not you've accomplished your goal?
That's true.
Right? So once you write down, like for example, what is your definition of love?
Okay.
Right? What are some examples of love? And what is your expectations of love? And then whoever it is that you are connecting with or desiring to connect with, you need to know where they stand with all of those things too.
Wow.
Because sometimes we get into relationships because we're initially attracted to a person, but we don't ask the necessary questions that make that relationship fulfilling.
Okay. Wow.
But that's that credit score. Do you have a job? Yes or no?
I know that's right.
Do you got goals?
You have some benefits with that job. Let me give y'all the list that I tell my daughter. Do you have benefits? Does it come with health insurance? Can you put me on your health insurance? It's serious stuff that you got to know.
That's like that's like business relationship too. Do you have benefits?
Exactly.
Is it a benefit?
Well, we are getting close to the end of the show, and we always like to get the quote of the day out there. The quote of the day is, today, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. And that was by Dale Carnegie. It sounded a lot like Kevin Pryor earlier.
It sure did. It sure did.
It sounded like somebody
it
said
sure
earlier.
did, right?
You know what I'm saying?
It
I
sure
hadn't
did.
read this shit.
Yeah.
So, also next week, our guest will be Michelle Taylor Willis. She is with South Fulton Lifestyle Magazine. She is also with Mix 106 Radio. Not as hot as us.
I know, we saying all these radio stations.
Not quite as hot as us. But she will be a guest on our show. We love you to pieces. If you want to find Influencer 365, you can catch us on Instagram.
Yep.
At 365 Influencer. You can catch us on Facebook at Influencer 365, or go to our website.
And also support. Like if you miss the episode, don't worry. We got a podcast. So go to Apple, go to Google, go to Spotify, and search Influencer 365, and you'll be able to subscribe and download our podcast. You can listen to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have new episodes every single week.
And let me put this out here as a public service announcement, because I am so sick and tired of this. All right, I was actually driving down the street the other day, and somebody just yelled out the window, "Hey man, I see what y'all doing. I see what y'all doing. I like what y'all doing with that entrepreneur stuff." Okay, this actually happened to me. This is for real, right? But you ain't never hit the like button. Okay, I get so tired of people. They see everything that you're doing all the way down your timeline, but they will not hit the like button.
Yeah, you so used to scrolling. Stop scrolling
and click like.
Click like.
Click
Go
share.
Subscribe. Share.
Comment something.
Spread the wealth. Spread the word.
So if you are on Facebook right now,
exactly, Facebook,
there is a blue like button at the top of the page. I got like 2 minutes left on L. We're going to use this to show y'all
how to like our page on Facebook. Step-by-step tutorial.
So please go up to the top and hit the like button. And also go to Dr. Tanji's Love Manifesto page and hit the like button as well. One more time, Dr. Tanji, and let us know where you can be found at.
Sure, on Love Manifesto Radio Show on Facebook, and also at Dr_Tanji on Instagram.
All right. And we are back with our producer right now. So we're going to get ready to roll out of here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Influencer Radio this week. Like I said, next week we'll have Michelle Taylor Willis as a guest on. What are we going to talk about next week? We got to think of something to talk about. Because, you also got to check us out Thursday on World Star Hit Radio from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can catch us live right here on Facebook one more time.
Yeah. And how about this? Let's make this interactive, right? So if you got a topic that you want us to cover,
there you go.
Email us. I'm not emails. Message us on Instagram, Facebook. Message us. Present a topic or a question, and we will answer it live on air for the whole world, all of Metro Atlanta to hear. So feel free to do that. And we'll be back next week.
We gonna get this ending right. The ending always. It's like
same bad time, same bad channel.
We start too soon on the ending. We go too late. It's one or the other. We gonna get the ending right next week when you join us right here on 1100 a.m. We will have a good ending. All right, we're gonna have a great ending next week. And we are out. Thank you so much for tuning in to Influencer
Tune
Radio.
in next week. Listen to the most dangerous business show on radio, Influencer Radio.
Thank y'all so much.
Just